Yeah, football, it's here. Can't wait. Super excited. Navco, Dustin here, Fantasy Smack Talk. I'm a little excited. So, this video, we're going to go over some sleepers, answer some forum questions, things like that. Of course, this is our second of our weekly videos. You got Dustin's Waiver Wire show that I highly recommend tuning into because that really helps bolster your lineup and get to winning championships. So before we get into our quick tip, exciting news, we've partnered up with FanDuel. So what you need to do is when you sign up for FanDuel, click on where you can enter the promo code, enter an FST 2013. FanDuel's agreed to match a 100% deposit bonus. We've agreed to give anyone that does it a fancy t-shirt. That's right, sleeve print. You're gonna get an FST t-shirt. Trick is you have to actually deposit money. You can't just sign up, but you'll be getting a t-shirt, and then in the forums, Lincoln's gonna have a column that's gonna be able to help you out with guys to pick based on value, so you're gonna get your money right back. So Dustin, go ahead, start us the show off with a quick little tip for the guys.
So especially this
And
year,
gals.
and gals, especially this year, it feels like a lot more leagues are maybe changing the way that they do waivers. You know, they have the continuous waivers now, the rolling waivers, fab bidding, all that stuff. My advice is just be 100% sure you know exactly how your waivers work going into week one. It's a big waiver wire week because there's so much moving and shaking going on as far as what actually happens once football starts. So just make sure you're 100% sure how the waivers work in your league. So our first forum question, every week we pull these right from the forums, we put them on the video, and we put them on the homepage to do a poll for the FST community to see how the FST community feels. Our first one comes from Bardar42. Bardar. Which quarterback, Big Ben versus Tennessee or Eli at Dallas? Right now, 56% of the community is going Eli.
Yeah, and I understand why this is close, and out of the two, I just did the rankings, so that's also on the site. So for the rankings wise, I put Eli slightly above Ben, and the simple fact is, with Redmond being the starting back for Big Ben, I just feel that they're not going to really stack the box. It's going to be a little bit of a tougher matchup for Big Ben on that reason. And Eli, you know how these NFC East games go. They could be shootouts. They could be, obviously not a huge shootout. But the thing is that I like about Eli, you got Cruz, you got Nick's healthy, and you got David Wilson. The checkdowns, big play potential for Eli. So I'm just going based on that slightly higher over Big Ben.
I'm going Big Ben. Just
Of
don't
course.
Redmond.
So hopefully that helps out. Bardar. All right, the next one's going to come from Keeney96. He wants to know which tight end should he be starting. Zach Sudfeld against Buffalo. 70% of the league thinks they should do him over the other guy. That's Greg Olsen, who is playing Seattle.
I mean, this one's really hard. I mean, obviously, Greg Olsen is a little bit safer in the terms of just how much he's going to be out on the field. You know he's their go-to as far as the tight end position. At Sudfeld, there's been some reports as far as how much he's going to be out on the field and how many targets that might impact. It's scary. I think Sudfeld's just because his upside is a lot higher with a much better matchup. That's who I'm going with in this one. He's on the better offense. They're going to score a decent amount of points in that game. That's who I'm going with, although it is a little risky. But I think the upside's too big to pass on. Big Mac 8_7. Which quarterback? We got Matt Ryan at New Orleans or RG3 versus Philly. Right now, 56% of the community is saying Matt Ryan. Kind of a close one.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's actually that close, and I'm not scared about RG3 and his knee and anything that's going to happen there. Clearly, he's starting. But Matt Ryan's my number 2 ranked quarterback this week. I love the matchup against New Orleans. I think this game is going to be a shootout. Both teams are going to be throwing the ball over the field. I love Matt Ryan's weapons. I just think in any format, even a 6-point, 4-point passing touchdown, however it works out, I'm clearly taking Matt Ryan over RG3 this week.
All right, and every week we like to throw out our duds, sleepers, and deep sleepers. So we'll go through my picks. My dud this week, it pains me to do it, but I drafted him in a decent amount of leagues, and I'm looking at right now is trying to find a way to maybe get him out of my lineup because it's a little scary. But Giovanni Bernard going up against Chicago. I mean, there's a question mark of how many touches he's going to get. He's got a tough matchup. I still don't mind him if you're in a bind. I wouldn't go crazy as far as feeling like you have to move him to your bench, but if you have another decent option, you probably want to explore it.
Gotta like him in a PPR a little bit more too.
Yeah, if it's PPR, probably haul in a few catches. My sleeper, I'm going with Daryl Richardson. They're playing Arizona week 1, who has a decent defense, but not necessarily that great against the run last year. Richardson's, I call him a sleeper just because I feel like he's going to be kind of on the cusp of a lot of people's rosters maybe this week as far as between maybe him and another guy for your flex spot or something like that.
Like a Ryan Matthews or something.
Something along those lines, but with Pete suspended week 1, Richardson is definitely the man. He's going to get a ton of touches. And then my deep sleeper is Michael Floyd. I'm really excited about that offense. They're playing St. Louis. Carson Palmer, I think, is going to put a spark in that offense. And with Floyd, all the attention going to Larry Fitz, I think Floyd gets a lot of single coverage. I like his upside as a decent wide receiver 3 this week.
All right, my dud this week is going to be, and it kind of pains me as a Steelers fan, is going to be Isaac Redman. And here's the reason why I have him listed as a dud. I know you probably got him very late in drafts, but I saw a lot of the sites, the CBS specifically, that actually had his projected points pretty high. And a side note to all this, I know a lot of people love to look at the projected points, and that's based on how they're setting their lineups. Take that with a grain of salt. You got to also look at your settings, things like that. But Redman scares me a little bit. I think he's not going to get truly a full workload. So therefore, there's just a lot of other running backs I'd like to see. And then my sleeper, and again, our first sleeper is a guy that we've gotten some questions about in the forums, and that's Jordy Nelson. I like Jordy Nelson over a lot of other guys. People are a little bit concerned about his injury. He's been practicing. He's ready to go. He's ready to start. I know he's playing the Niners, but still, Jordy is locked in as the number 2, and you got to love Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. My deep sleeper. I love this guy, Kenbrell Thompkins.
Love him.
Obviously, the preseason was absolutely absurd for him. I think it just rolls right into the regular season. There's a chance he could get as many targets, if not the most targets, on the New England Patriots. Of course, he'll deal with Amendola. Regardless, Tom Brady is going to be throwing the ball, and I think he's going to be throwing quite a bit to Kenbrell Thompkins. Calling it, he's getting his first NFL touchdown week 1.
We will see. Let's move into Mike's picks. His dud's going to be D'Angelo Williams going up against Seattle. I think one of the reasons he put him on here is because, with Tolbert's still going to factor in a little bit, but with Jonathan Stewart all the way out of the way, I think some people might get overly confident with D'Angelo Williams, but going up against Seattle, find a way to get him on your bench unless you're really desperate. His sleeper, Brian Hartline, going up against Cleveland. Hartline really didn't get much love this preseason and didn't really get much love in drafts either for being a 1,000-yard receiver last year. And you really could make the argument that Mike Wallace being there just makes it easier for him to get to 1,000 yards again. That might be a little bit of a stretch, but don't forget about Hartline. He's still not a terrible, terrible receiver. So he likes him this week against
Strong
Cleveland.
endorsement.
And then his deep sleeper is Tampa Bay going up against the Jets. And I've talked about Tampa Bay on my waiver wire show. It's not that Tampa Bay's D is that great. It's just that the Jets offense really has no one. So Tampa Bay should be able to do something against them this week.
So that's it. This is our first week 1. Can't wait. Football is here. You got lineup questions, post them in our forums. Us and our army of experts will certainly be answering them. Dustin, give him a pen flip.